playing the mountain from his hand. There's a Xenagos. Oh, see, there's the Dictate. See if Xenagos can bait out another card. Get a free buy. Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Still on trigger 1.
Ooh,
we are
that one
still
hurt.
on the first trigger.
Oh my goodness.
Still on the first trigger. Okay, trigger number 2.
Michael just wants it all to stop.
And the third.
Just make the hurt go away.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of cards.
That was 12 cards.
That was 12 cards.
That's a lot.
I agree.
That is many.
The Sphinx's Tutelage was late to the party, but oh, and there's a second copy.
Jeez. Well, Michael, I mean, I don't want to call him before I seize him, so to speak, but
He's got,
it's not looking
I
great
believe
for
he
Michael.
has both Fog and Negate left up, and from this spot, you have to like Daniel's chances to win this game 3.
And Michael just keeps drawing these Draconic Roars and these Cursors. Just none of the cards in his deck do anything.
See what the flip is here. There's another Xenagos, prompting more free flipped cards.
Oh, well,
Gonna play the Haven, gain a life up to 23.
on the bright side, your opponent having a Sphinx Tutelage in play does make your Havens better.
That's true. Unfortunately, he's not quite gotten to the point where his mana is high enough to sack it to get back a Storm Breath, play the Storm Breath, and Monstrous it in the same turn, which is about what he's going to need to do here to get out of this.
There might not be that many more lands left in Michael's deck.
I would be surprised if there were. There's a Defend the Hearth. Going to prevent the 7 damage worth from that attack. So we're going to see 6 triggers here. There's the first.
All right, well.
Continues going. All right, here's the second.
Well, the second on the first draw.
Yes. All right, so here's the third trigger. And the fourth. Okay. And we're
Looks
ready
like
for
he's
the last draw and the last 2 triggers.
Placing his Storm Breath on the top so he remembers to get it back.
Yep, and the final trigger gonna be also a miss. Okay. So we got 2 Storm Breaths here for his Havens.
It looks like Dan's asking for a life total count from Michael.
We may be seeing a Treasure Cruise to finish it off here. I'm not certain I see that in his hand.
Looks like Michael has 15 cards left in his life deck.
In his life deck, yes.
Oh, yes.
There is the Treasure Cruise. That's going to produce another 6 triggers.
Or 6 more triggers, yeah. So it looks like Michael's dead.
1, 2, 3 cards.
He needs to get very lucky on these and also have Dan draw 3 cards that don't do anything.
All right, there's 2. That's going to continue. This is still the 3rd trigger. 4th trigger. All right, 5th. That's going to continue going.
Yeah, that's...
And those are the last 2. Yep, he realizes he is
that's the game.
out of cards to flip over. Daniel Baker going to take down this match 2-1. Turbo Fog over Green Red Dragons.
So this is exactly what we talked about before they even started playing. Is this matchup just looks incredibly difficult for the Green-Red deck unless they have Destructive Revelries or Reclamation Sages or anything to just interact in any facet.
Michael's cards very poorly set up to interact with what Daniel was doing. The Draconic Roars, no targets. The Anger of the Gods that he's pulling to the front now, just not doing anything. Six or more dead cards in his library.
I mean, it almost felt like all of his creatures were dead cards too. And I mean, I know you have to try to win the game somehow, but they just the Coursers looked terrible. The Elves looked terrible. It was just that matchup has to be just about the worst thing. It's almost a monocolored deck that wins only on combat damage.
This is the exact type of thing that you want to see when you walk into a room to play a tournament, when you sit down with Turbo Fog. You want to see other mid-range decks that can neither get under what you're setting up, nor go over the top of it with a more powerful strategy. They're just walking right into all the fogs. They have no real ways to interact, as we saw. Michael just kind of dead in the water.
Yeah, he just showed up to this match and just got blindsided. It was a brutal games. He did manage to steal one. he got time twisted directly into a fireball to kill Dan.
Daniel just ran out of cards in that game. He didn't have any of the draw engines that his deck normally provides him. He almost got there with just 2 raw Sphinx's Tutelage, just 4 cards a turn, and Honest Man's Work. Just unable to find that last spell or two to really push the Tutelage over the top.
All right, so from us here at the booth, we are going to cut to break. We will be back here for round 3 of the Thursday Wasteland Standard Tournament. We'll see you in a minute. And we're back. This is round 3 of Thursday Night Standard at the Wasteland. I am your host, Jeff Stouter, here with Nathan Satterfield.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here to watch some more sweet Magic Origins Standard.
I'm going to quickly update the archetypes here. We have an Abzan mid-range control mirror. 2 of the players with some small card differences. I think one of them opting for a larger strategy with more copies of Elspeth. And I think John's just jamming a bunch of the new Planeswalker flip cards.
Sure. This should be a slightly more interactive than our last match.
Yes, absolutely. We saw plenty of interaction, but just not really in the way we normally do.
It was all from one person.
We saw creatures turning sideways and dealing no damage. Hopefully, that will not be the case this game. Get to see some creatures doing some work in the red zone.
I'm sure many Siege Rhinos will be cast. And like you said, Elspeths and so what other Planeswalkers is John playing? Liliana, I assume?
Liliana, I think he's got a couple copies of Liliana, Heretical Healer, and a couple copies of Nissa, Vastwood Seer.
Yeah, Nissa was one of the cards leading up to the release of Magic Origins that everyone was very excited about to have in these Abzan-controlled decks. Face value, it is just a Borderland Ranger, but late game it has much more utility than that.
The +1 on the Sage Animist side,
great.
The Druidic Satchel activation, if you will, minus the token aspect of it. Just, I either get the land for free and I get to draw the gas.
Coiling Oracle.
Exactly.
If you recall that card.
Perfect throwback to that. But you get to set it up with cards like Courser Crucifix. Temples as well, yeah. You have lots of ways to know exactly what it is that you're going to be doing, and getting the extra land into play isn't terrible. These decks can do a lot with a lot of mana. You have Den Protector type of recursion.
Sure, you have your Den Protectors. You also have Abzan Charm to draw a bunch of cards, and having a bunch of mana lets you draw 2 cards and then also play one of the 2 cards, which I feel like that's the best way to get ahead in these Abzan control mirrors, is to start casting multiple spells and really put the pressure on your opponent to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if either of these decks is also running a copy of Ugin.
Ugin is definitely the mirror breaker in this one. It looks like John is going to 5. Yeah, which is not what you want. And like I said, these are very attrition-y fights are going to go on for a while. I mean, the right 5 can definitely fight an average 7. He definitely is going to need an Abzan Charm or some way to get ahead on cards.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
He's just going to have to squeeze every bit of value he can out of each card that he
draws. A card like Nissa even can unmulligan himself.
I mean, that's drawing a card. It's just a land, but it's a card.
It's very important to hit your land drops too, as we've already stated. Even Liliana, just getting another card to die and it to flip.
Also not terrible for mulligans, because you can pretty much force your opponent to mulligan. You're going to run out of cards way faster, so the +2 is...
It's definitely true.
Way better. All right, looks like we're starting
Sand Step Citadel. Coming in tapped for John.
And it looks like Luke's probably going to play the same thing. Just setting up your mana.
Likewise, it is a mirror. Let's not forget.
It looks like a Languish is in John's hand. Uh-oh, missed a second land drop.
That is highly unfortunate.
Not good, especially with this Thoughtseize on the way.
Yeah.
So let's see what John has to work with.
Luke going to drop to 18.
A Languish and Elspeth. 2 Languishes, actually. 3 Languishes, goodness. This hand looks not great. And he took the Courser, so there's not a whole lot that John's going to be able to do for any time soon. Scry's keeps it on top. Yep.
and we're going to game 2. Wow. Perhaps packing it in a little prematurely? Like, at least make Luke show you something that's going to kill you?
Sure. I agree.
Perhaps he just doesn't want to show any more of his deck. He did already reveal many copies of Languish.
But those have to be coming out.
Yeah, I don't think they're amazing.
I can't assume. Like,
Yeah, I don't think they're amazing.
good
Looks like
if you're-
Dromoka's I see Dromoka's Charm.
Dromoka Command.
Dromoka's Command, yeah.
And Utter End. I assumed the Utter End's coming in. He saw an Elspeth. Ooh,
Yeah.
there it is. There's the Ugin. Eugene.
The Spirit Dragon.
No, but I think Languish is really bad in the mirror. It doesn't kill like all the little creatures like Courser and Satyr Wayfinder if they're playing it, and Sylvan Caryatid. It kills all those, but those cards aren't what the matchup's about. Like the
I
things
agree.
you want to kill are the Siege Rhinos and the Wingmate Rocks if they're playing that, and just the big haymakers. And Languish doesn't really do any of that. I mean, Languish does actually kill Wingmate Rock. I'm sorry, they're 3/4, not 3/5s, but still, doesn't do anything to Planeswalkers.
It's a card now that Luke certainly has to have in the back of his mind as he's going through and sideboarding as well. And even playing the next couple of games, he's got to know that Languish is something he's got to look out for. So he's obviously going to try his best not to overextend into it.
So I actually like Luke's sideboard plan. I just saw him reach for a couple Thoughtseizes and take them out. I actually like that. A lot of these matchups end up being top deck wars, and Thoughtseize, when you're
Among
both top
the
decking,
worst.
A land is much better, especially one that scries. But Thoughtseize is just abysmal. Also, it looks like Luke has Fleecemane Lions in his deck, which is a pretty decent threat against John's deck, especially if John's going to cut the languages like we think he is.
Yeah, looks like John's deck much more controlling than Luke's at face value. We'll see if that holds true. Both of these decks are going to revert to the same sort of shell of cards to try and grind each other out. They want to Siege Rhino each other. They want to Den Protector each other. They want to do Abzan Charm themselves to draw more cards and continue doing Plan A.
And they need to land a Eugene. Oh, and I saw it in John's
Eugene.
deck too. So this is going to be a race to 8 mana, and whoever can play in Ugin first is going to have a...
Stout advantage.
It looks like John actually kept at least 1 or 2 copies of Languish in, which, I mean, it might be okay. Maybe he had the foresight to think that Luke is going to have the Fleecemane Lions after this. After
Yeah,
game
maybe.
one.
Maybe so.
I mean, Languish is very good against Fleecemane. It does not care if it's monstrous or not.
We're not sure how familiar these two players are with each other's deck lists. I think they knew that they were both playing Abzan before the match started, but I am not sure at this point how much they know about the exact 75 that they're up against.
Yep, and for those watching at home, you may not know, we have about 30 players for the standard tournament. I mean, Luke is a regular. He was here. He was actually on the Monday Night Modern show.
Yeah, he won his round in round 4, I think,
Correct. It
with
was
Green Red Tron.
Tron
against
and
Black White Tokens.
Yes. It was he put on a clinic against that Black White Tokens deck. So Luke is a regular here at the store, as so is John. So they may have prior knowledge of
Yes.
each other's deck lists.
I would imagine so. Good atmosphere for a weekend tournament or weekday nightly tournament.
Sure, absolutely. Get home from work, have dinner, come up to the shop, play cards for a couple hours, go home. It's like going to the gym for your brain.
That's exactly right.
Good stuff.
We used to hold tournaments that would cut to top 8 and they would last until 1:30 or 2 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
We have since stopped at the request of our players
For our safety
many,
and yours.
many years ago. And now we just cut to standings. Everyone's much happier.
Yep, just 4 rounds, real basic. No matter how many players there are, just 4 rounds cut to standings. Prizes based on record.
Prizes based on record, yep.
It's a better system, I feel. So it looks like players are almost done shuffling up. John Judson and Luke Niaz in the Abzan Control mirror match, and Luke is up a game. So what kind of opening hand are the players looking for to get ahead in this match?
I think if you have access to Thoughtseize, that's what you want. Otherwise, you would like to have a Courser.
Sure.
And start getting value off of your Courser, because that's really the unanswered. Like, it's the engine that, if unanswered, will allow you to pull super far ahead, because it ensures that you are more likely to draw cards that are gas and less likely to flood out. But also, it secures your life total. It makes it so that you are hitting your land drops. Courser's just excellent in this matchup. Temple of Malady for Luke.
It looks like both players kept 7. I see an Abzan Charm, Hero's Downfall on a Fleece main line, and a Den Protector in Luke's hand. His hand looks really solid. Maybe a little mana light.
John's got
John's a lot of flip cards.
3 flip cards and 4 planeswalkers in total. Potentially.
Actually, I kind of like John's spot here. Planeswalkers are one of the permanent types that it's... Other than Hero's Downfall, there's not a lot. Like,
2 Lilies and 1 Nissa is what our table spotter is giving us. So he can play the Nissa and get the extra land, and then play a Lily, potentially able to trigger 1 Lily by playing the second.
Sure.
To flip it. It's an interesting line. I don't know if he'll take that, because it is, you do go down a card. We'll see what Luke is going to deploy here.
Oh, it looks like Luke actually doesn't have any white mana, which is making that Fleece Main in his hand look a little
interesting,
awkward.
Okay.
Also, the Abzan Charm, you can't cast it. Looks like he's going to hold up Hero's Downfall.
All right. Got a Planeswalker here.
There's the Nissa. Might as well run out the one that gets you a land first.
Gonna go get yourself the forest.
Let's see if he plays that or another tap land to set up for a future turn.
I think if he's got access to the tap land, there's not much you're going to do with just 1 green mana. Looks like he does not have the other land. Just going to lay the forest.
Hand, though. And an Abzan Charm.
Yeah.
Both players obviously drew their Eugenes in their opening hand.
There is the downfall. Just going to go ahead and take care of Nissa right away.
Still no white mana for Luke.
An interesting dilemma. Both of these players unable to overpower their mana bases. Here's Siege Rhino. Let's see. Gonna take John up to 23, Luke down to 16. Likely to see another copy of Hero's Downfall. Yep.
Oh man, with Luke spewing those Hero's Downfalls, these Planeswalkers are going to be a real problem for him in the future.
That is true. 2 of those down. Looks like a copy of Siege Rhino for Luke, but still
no white mana.
I don't think he has a 5th land either.
I don't think he can cast any of the spells in his hand other than that Den Protector.
Perhaps an oversight? Maybe speculative keep? There's a morph.
There's a Den Protector. Which is not terrible. If he draws a 5th land on his next turn, he's able to flip the Den Protector up, get a Hero's Downfall, and then kill what I presume is going to be a Liliana. And that's our table spotter, Brad, making sure it is the Den Protector.
Yeah, there's
Elvish Visionary.
Elvish Visionary.
That's interesting. I didn't know that was in John's deck. Maybe a replacement for Satyr Wayfinder?
Oh my. Looks like a removal spell.
I believe that was the Clash Pack version of Hero's Downfall.
Hero's Downfall. Opting not to let Luke untap and have access to another card.
Oh, there's the white mana.
Found it. It does come into play tapped. Gonna scry. Keeping top. Copy of Abzan Charm for John.
Here's a Liliana. Liliana, Heretical Healer, black 1 for a 2/3.
2/3.
With lifelink. And whenever another one of your creatures dies, you exile it, put a 2/2 zombie into play, and then transform it into its Planeswalker form.
Yep.
Oh, there's a second white source for Luke.
See if Luke chooses to deploy his Siege Rhino here. Yeah, there it is. It's gonna swing the life totals back to a more even state. there's
And a
Fleece Mane.
Fleece Mane.
Looks like he's going to take 2 damage off of this.
Correct.
Both of those pain
I
lands.
believe he has Caves of Coilless and a Llanowar Waste.
Llanowar Waste, yep.
Well, Luke turned this game around really quickly after finding his white sources.
Those Abzan Charms unable to flip the Liliana because they exile.
I think he should run one of those Abzan Charms into the Siege Rhino.
I agree. I don't think Siege Rhino is a card you can let stand on the table for very long. Looks like he's going to deploy a Den Protector. Look to get back perhaps a copy of Hero's Downfall.
And another land for Luke. He is 1 mana off from casting the Ugin in his hand.
See what he chooses to do this turn. Perhaps just leaving up the monstrosity, the monstrous effect on the Fleece Mane line.
Yeah, I like that. His attacks seem really good here. John has approximately 0 good blocks to make. That's why I like Fleece Mane line in this matchup. Because if...
I actually don't hate flipping and blocking. I think I would make him block the other one and spend his mana. And
I like to
save it.
block on the Fleece Mane too. It lets Luke do less with his turn. He's already probably going to monstrous it.
I agree.
And I believe John has a Ugin in his hand, so a monstrous Fleece Mane line is not the end of the world.
He actually would love for it to flip because
Absolutely.
It's just going to sit on defense because he's got the Elvish Visionary. I don't think he's going to continue attacking because the race is no longer in his favor.
Oh no.
He's just going to sit back and dare Luke to attack and flip his Liliana. Yeah, I don't hate that play.
Just put a threat into play that John's
looks like
have problems.
looks like he is going to flip.
Get back.
There's
Oh,
the
he's
Nissa.
Nissa.
That's an interesting line.
That's not terrible. He did
Gonna
miss his 6
gonna trample over for 2. John's gonna take 6 here. Down to 14. Life total is very even. 14 to 13. There's the zombie token from the Liliana flip.
I believe that is a Josh Utterlayton token.
Absolutely.
We've seen Kobe and now Josh Utterlayton. Just
All of the all-star tokens. We spare no expense here at the Wasteland Game.
Not.
Playing Magic with style.
That is not the worst thing I've heard about the store. I will take it.
Luke tanking on a couple things. Only 2 mana at his disposal. Just going to let John untap.
Can't cast any of those spells in his hand.
That's right.
I assume John's going to play the Nissa here. Go get a forest. And then perhaps cast the Abzan Charm on the Siege Rhino.
I think that would be best. Going to discard... Looks like 1 copy of Abzan Charm. Yep. And Luke discarding Crux of Fate. Interesting that he's discarding the Crux. I might have kept that since we've already got an Indestructible Lion. He may be able to set up a play where that's the only creature left and it can continue to do work. Maybe take out a Liliana. Something like that. We will see. Just an attack for 2 here. Going to drop Luke to 11.
Yep, this is fine. Elvish Visionaries can jump in front of Fleece Mane should it have to. Ooh, and a Corsair for Luke. Not a terrible draw.
I think that's a good one. Help him find the 8th mana. He needs to cast Ugin. See what the top holds for him. It's another copy of Siege Rhino. Not the worst. Not a land, but not the worst.
Dr. Rhinoceros, I presume.
Dr. Rhinoceros.
I like attacking the Liliana with Fleece Mane here. I think he should put pressure on the Planeswalker.
Absolutely. We'll see what Liliana chooses to do here. Very interesting
He
options.
could minus and put a Siege Rhino into play, which seems pretty powerful.
I agree.
Oh, he's just going to plus it.
He's already made his land drop too, so I'm not sure that you want to be casting Nissa this turn.
Sure.
You could do it next turn and then
And
flip
flip
it.
it on the same turn.
You don't want to expose her to unnecessary removal spells.
And an Elspeth from John. Oh my.
That's a very strong one.
This is exactly what John needed to play to
Yeah, I'm not
pull
sure.
back into this.
I'm not sure Luke discarding that Crux of Fate was the best plan.
There's an Elspeth for Luke. I think I would have preferred him to cast the Abzan Charm in response to the Liliana.
Probably.
In case he does draw land and Siege Rhino, he can discard the Siege Rhino, play his land, play an Ugin, and then he is in way better shape.
Wonderful shape. He still just needs the land.
All the blockers are tokens, so Ugin can mop this board up very quickly.
Very true. Come down -0. Get rid of all the...
Yeah, and he can just kill one of the planes.
Exactly.
He can kill Elspeth on the spot.
Okay, yep. I really like that. Unfortunately, he did not hit.
No, maybe he's worried about preserving his life total. I mean, to be fair, Luke's mana base is a little painful.
That's definitely true. There is always the... Oh, that's going to help.
Oh, yeah.
The
absolutely.
Siege Rhino is definitely going to help. But there is always the threaten... Liliana threatens to bring back a Siege Rhino. If that's not dealt with either. So he does have to watch himself.
Yeah, it looks
Just
like
going to pass it back.
John is in a commanding lead in this game now. He just pluses both of his planeswalkers, gets rid of the Ugin in Luke's hand, and maybe even cast an Ugin of his own.
I think he's adding another Planeswalker to the board this turn.
Whether it be Nissa or Ugin.
I think he's only going to be able to
Yep, he's one mana short.
to
Ugin, my
deploy
apologies.
the Liliana, or sorry, the Nissa. It already has Liliana in play. He is minusing, going to bring back Siege Rhino.
That's interesting. I would have
Reversing
thought
life totals once again.
he really wants to get rid of the last card in Luke's hand. Oh, they switched life totals, not names.
There is the Nissa.
So this is actually the first time I've seen a Nissa flip in one of our standard tournaments. I assume it's going to be very good here. I mean, it's just going to push John further ahead when he's already just in the lead by a pretty substantial margin.
I think the ground is pretty well clogged up. All he really needs to do is plus and get his free card.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's not unhappy about a land because he has the Ugin in his hand. He's also not unhappy about drawing a card because drawing a card is always very good. There is the flip. I think pulling the loyalty down to make the legendary 4/4 is bad, knowing that there is an Elspeth coming.
Yeah, you don't want Luke to minus his Elspeth, and I mean, it'll get rid of his Siege Rhino, but it'll also get rid of your two best creatures in play.
That's true.
But it looks like John's gonna go ahead and put the Elemental into play.
Perhaps he's just getting aggressive. I don't know about this one.
If Luke has a land, an untapped land on the top of his deck, John is in for
Oh, it's another copy of Elspeth. But I think we will see Luke make that play of the Elspeth and then minus.
So, the thought just occurred to me. Ugin, when it minuses, kills both of his planeswalkers too if it minuses
Yes,
for
that
0.
is that's correct.
Their
'cause
converted mana cost is 0.
the converted mana cost of all the flips is 0. Yes.
Oh man, Ugin would be a backbreaking play.
Absolutely smashing.
It would it would put John to 2 non-land permanents. Which
Another
seems
okay. reason why I like plussing there. You're just creating another thing that dies to Ugin if he does spike. I suppose you can't live your entire life in fear of Ugin, but I'm not sure that the 4/4 adds that much to the board.
No, his blocks were already decent.
Oh, here's an
Abzan
Copy of
Charm
Abzan
on
Charm.
a Siege Rhino.
Yes. This makes blocks pretty simple. Yep.
Chump the Fleece
Just-
Bane, eat the Courser.
Just 1 and 1 here. Yep.
Yeah, John's going to need that land soon. This Elspeth will help.
Luke's somewhat enticed to make that attack because he knows that once this Elspeth resolves and minuses, I think he has to take 1 off of a pain land there too, so he's going to drop down to 10.
So would you minus the Elspeth here?
I would.
Yep, absolutely. It does,
Especially since you know that there's another one on top.
does die to the tokens on the crackback, but that's fine.
It's gaining you some life. John may also just choose to ignore it. Like, Elspeth can't minus again. You do get the option to plus it and then play another one.
And then minus the second one.
And then minus the second one. It's an interesting call here. Looks like Ugin no longer a problem. Had to discard it to the Liliana.
That was very fortunate for John that Luke could not find his 8th land, because
Yes.
that would have been a pulverizing, if you will.
Dropping him down to 5. John getting a lot of advantage off of these planeswalkers. They've sat in play for a long time.
Yeah, his build of Abzan is interesting on paper, but in practice, in the mirror, it seems very good. What you're doing is you're taxing their removal spells that can hit planeswalkers, like their Hero's Downfalls and their Utterance, should they side it in.
Yes.
And you just overload them so they can't possibly kill all your guys.
He certainly, I mean, if you look at his side of the board, there's so much stuff just over there.
He does have many, many permanents.
Looks like the flip reveals Elvish Visionary. Just going to draw that one.
Yep.
Abzan Charm, not enough to keep Luke in the game. So we're going to see a third game between John Jensen and Luke Nehez playing the Abzan Control Mirror. Looks like Luke is a little bit more aggressive with some cards like Fleecebane Lion. And John definitely more controlling with so many Planeswalkers.
I actually like John's build on Abzan. I think it's interesting. It's not something that I saw. I did see Nissa's at the Star City tournament. I did not see very many Lilianas in Abzan. I like it. It seems decent. The plus is a great way to just kind of pull your opponent back down to your level, because you're spending all these resources putting permanents into play. And if they're not spending resources to answer them, you can pull their permanents out of their hand.
That's exactly right. And the plus and the minus work so well together that you don't have to be super sad that you're discarding a creature, because
Rebuying Siege Rhinos is great.
exactly. If you cast it and they kill it, you've gotten a card. If you plus and discard it, you get one of their cards with the activation as well. It's just all gravy. And these types of matchups are grind fests.
Oh,
and these
absolutely.
planeswalkers are excellent in grind fests.
So-
Liliana, excellent in a grind fest. Nissa, drawing you cards, getting you lands. Both sides, very, very good.
Liliana can also buy back your planeswalkers, because their front sides are creatures, even though there are planeswalkers on the back.
She can get back
So
Nissa.
you can
yeah.
minus your Liliana, put a Nissa into play, play a 7th land, and then you just use the planeswalker to reanimate a planeswalker, which seems insane. Liliana just seems great in this matchup.
I'm impressed. I'm very,
absolutely.
very impressed with the way John's deck is working.
Ooh, I see Tazgers in Luke's deck.
That's another interesting one. Going late game with that. I don't think he has too many cards in his deck. With maybe the exception of Crux of Fate, which I see him taking it out right
Yeah.
now. That's one of the only cards that I see being questionable
Crux
on
seem very average.
a Tasigur buyback. All the other cards seem very, very good. Looks like he's going to bring in a copy of Dramoka's Command. Very interesting.
It lets your Siege Rhino win fights.
It can help you win the Courser War if you have to expend it.
Sure.
You can let your opponent play it, maybe get one free land off of it, hope that they miss, and then at the end of their turn make them sacrifice it before they get any more value off of it.
Maybe he's worried about John siding in something like Mastery of the Unseen, which is a problem for this deck.
Absolutely.
Mastery is a...
It'd be
Ooh.
very difficult to deal with.
Mastery of the Unseen. I'd like to flip my Planeswalker and then,
And then
flip
my Planeswalker. Yeah. That's going real deep.
That's a combo.
That is a combo.
Yes. So feel free to go ahead and make your Mastery of the Unseen Planeswalker decks.
You heard it here first.
Courtesy of Jeff Statter and Nathan Satterfield from our play areas to yours.
Flipping out here on coverage. Round 3. Abzan Control Mirror. Driving us just a little bit batty. Super fun to watch this interactive matchup.
No, absolutely. It is way better than my brain sitting here and drooling, like leaking out of my nose watching Turbo Fog. Just like, yep, well, the green-red deck didn't do anything yet again, and Turbo Fog is doing all the things. That's good. So
looks like Luke is changing his mind about that Dromoka's command. I think I saw him take it out just now.
Maybe he heard me.
Maybe so.
Maybe he's like, you know what?
You convinced him.
Flipping Planeswalkers does seem awesome. I'm gonna watch him do it.
Just gonna let him ruin me with this Master of the Unseen that is probably not in John Judson.
Oh, absolutely not. That seems like a...
There are too many non-creature permanents. I think he's got too much other business to attend to other than, just spending a little bit of mana to manifest a card off the top of his library.
Yeah, I don't even think either of these decks have the Deathmist Raptor package.
I don't think either one of them is truly megamorphing. They're really only Den Protectoring.
Which might be a concession to Languish being in the format, because
Maybe
Languish is decent against all the Deathmist Raptor shenanigans. They will eventually come back, but you can get rid of the Deathmist Raptors, whether they be megamorphed or not, and also the Den Protectors.
In the past, you could worry about an Ugin, and he would only hit the ones that were flipped face up. You could worry about things that, they only killed a 2-power, 3-power creature. You could play around it by leaving Megamorph. Looks like they both kept 7. Temple, Scry to the top. For Luke, who's on the play.
Just setting up.
He's got a copy of Sorin Solemn Visitor in his hand.
Ooh.
What do you think about that card in the matchup?
It's decent. Flyers are actually pretty hard for this deck to interact with. They will have to use a removal spell on it, but it is a token, so...
Luke's drawn a copy of the otherness that's legal in the format, so he's looking to put on a Planeswalker parade of his own.
Are we about to watch a Planeswalker fight, Nathan?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, baby.
It's a walk-off.
Ooh.
Where's David Bowie when you need him? Turn to Fleece Mane Lion into John Judson's Temple of Silence.
Yeah, so it looks like John also has...
Oh, I see a Courser and a Temple of Malady for Luke. I think I also saw a Windswept Heath. We'll see how... It looks like he's just going to scry for now and play the Courser when he can get a free land off of it.
Yep, just setting up your mana base, making sure you can cast your Siege Rhinos and your Dromoka's Charms and Dromoka's Command. My apologies. Oh, so here comes the first Planeswalker.
Let's see. This is going to be... That's a very
Downfall.
very shiny Hero's Downfall.
Again,
gonna take care of the...
Pack, I believe.
Yep, gonna take care of the... It looks like he's gonna play Courser and then maybe play this Windswept Heath. Get some extra value.
See if he can find a land on top.
Oh, he does. Yep. There's a Llanowar Waste. Gonna gain him a life.
Ooh, that value. Courser was another one I was worried about when they printed Languish, because it seems in the same vein of Deathmist Raptor, where you don't really want to play both. Oh, and John with a Courser of his own. Again, from the Clash Pack, he's just alt-arting all over the place.
We will see if we can get John to move his library down a little bit, so that can be on camera.
And gaining life off his land.
Yeah, both of our players here getting some extra value off of Courser of Kruphix. Is that a copy of Languish on top of Luke's deck? I think it is. We'll see if he chooses to play the Windswept Heath and shuffle that away. Maybe he'll just deploy a Solemn Visitor.
Yeah, I don't mind Sorin here. He can plus keep his Courser back on blocks and then set up. The emblem for Sorin is pretty potent in this matchup.
Looks like Luke's going to gain 3.
Gain a little bit of life.
Here comes the Sandstep Citadel. Gain Luke another life. Up to 25.
Oh, it looks like John moved his library for you guys at home so you can see what's going on.
Shout out to our table spotter, helping all of you at home to have a better viewing experience.
If you guys watched on Monday for our Modern Tournament. That is actually our very own Brad Van Slyke out there, table spotting. Oh, and a Hero's Downfall on the Soren.
Gonna take care of Soren Solemn Visitor. He came to visit, but for only a short time.
Farewell, Soren. You will be missed.
We hardly knew ye. Copy of Hero's Downfall in Luke's hand.
Life totals are John Judson at 19 and Luke at 23.
There's a Languish. Caves of Koilos. Gonna get played for free.
Oh, just don't even untap it. Just get in with that Courser.
Yeah.
Oh, and a Tasigur on top. That's a spicy one.
Oh, certainly.
Tasigur seems really good on this board.
That is an interesting way to tap for that, because if he chooses to make the caves into... Yeah, if he makes that a 4/4, it cannot attack this turn.
Oh, he didn't attack with the Courser yet.
That caves should not be attacking. Let's see if we can...
Oh.
Let's see if we can stop them for a second. We'll see if we can catch that before they move too far. But yeah, if he's made that into a 4/4, so it's gonna be on guard duty once we fix this real quickly. And perhaps maybe he has 2 copies and he shuffled it in real quick. I'm not certain.
I don't believe he has another one. I believe that is the one he played that turn.
Yes, that's what I think too. I think our players are getting the news now. We'll see if we can run that back real quickly. Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to fix.
No, just a quick untap, change the
Yep.
life totals back. Yeah, here we go.
There it is. All right. 17 to 23 are the life totals.
Here we go. Yep. Does change John's turn. He cannot attack. We've got 18 after the land for the turn.
Yep.
Got an Obzon Charm on top of his library. That could potentially take out the caves. Or the Tasigur that could be coming in very soon as well. We'll see what John chooses to do here. He's got a copy of Elvish Visionary. Looks like that's going to come down. Draw him a card. Get him in this Obzon Charm right now.
Ooh.
Oh, there's an Elspeth, I believe.
Yield the Elspeth. Oh, but it looks like he's going to have to shuffle her away if he wants to cast either the Abzan Charm or the other end to exile the Nissa.
2 copies of Windswept Heath. Maybe restraining himself a little bit by not fetching. Looks like he's just going to shortcut, break both. No real life loss. You got to pay 1, but then you get the life right back when it comes into play.
Yep, as long as you're not at 1, doesn't matter.
Yeah, assuming Courser survives the fetch. Yeah, simple rewind here. We are at a regular REL rules enforcement level.
Yep.
For those of you at home. So none of the complicated, we've moved too far in the game, judge rulings that you see at competitive and professional RELs.
Also, lucky for us, the Brad, who is at the table spotting rig next to the match, also is a judge.
Yep.
So he is a man of many hats.
There is the Obzon Charm, exiling the Caves of Koilos, the newly found 4/4.
Sure. So he's going to attack the Nissa down
Ugin
too.
left on top of John's deck. That could be a very, very good one.
So he did
here very
attack the
soon.
Nissa.
Luke is doing an excellent job of flipping lands and then revealing spells, and he's done it once again. Ugin's on top of both of the decks right now. Oh, imagine if Luke had not animated one of his lands, how much closer he would be to playing Ugin this turn. Man, hindsight 2020. I like activating. I like activating with one of the lands that can attack, though, I think.
Oh, he also has a Windswept Heath, so...
Looks like a copy of Siege Rhino, too.
He's not going to be able to crack that if he wants to draw that Ugin.
That's true. He's already played the Urborg.
Oh, he already played land for turn.
Yep.
Sure. Is he thinking about playing this Languish?
Which took him up to 25. I like swinging in here, just because. Looks like we're gonna see another 4/4 rumble in.
Yep, that's
once
the sick
again,
one again.
once again making.
Oh,
yep. All right, we've decided that a plains is a better choice. No, we're gonna choose Llanowar Waste.
He has learned from his mistakes from the past, as we all must do.
Fool me once, shame on Nissa. Fool me twice, shame on me. So here we go. There's just an attack for 4. See if we see a chump block, or perhaps John just takes it. Yep.
Just takes it. It
Down
has
to
trample.
14.
The chump block seems pretty low value. Ooh, and a
That
Siege
is
Rhino.
that is true. Something to keep in mind. Siege Rhino gonna add 3 more damage on there. Luke in commanding position. Although both of these guys have the reset button in their hand, or ostensibly on top of their deck.
They are both 2 mana away though. Luke is getting extremely aggressive. I like it.
That's true.
He is just getting in there with them lands.
I see an Utter End in John's hand. Let's see which flip planeswalker this is. Looks like a
I believe it's a
Nissa.
Nissa.
Yeah, he's gonna find another land.
We'll
We'll see if he chooses to play it, because he does get to rebuy the top card.
Sure.
So perhaps
It is his 7th land too, so
oh, looks like he's just gonna throw it out there.
yeah, it'll flip the Nissa. There's an Urborg in play, so you can cast the other end.
Yeah, he may as well see what flips over, because if it's a land on top, he can just play that and reserve another. I suppose it doesn't matter too much.
Sure. It
honestly.
would have to be an untapped land.
It just lets him draw 1 card 1 faster.
He really needs to cast his other end this turn. This Nissa is adding a lot of power to the board quickly, and his life total is dwindling.
Yeah, he wouldn't have chosen to play this card anyway, because that one comes in tapped. So, well, that's gonna minus.
Nope, +1. Put the Sandstep Citadel into play.
Okay.
Gain another life off course.
Oh, a Johnny Mentor of Heroes.
Ooh, he is going all out with these planeswalkers.
Lots and lots of planeswalkers.
I like it.
I agree. We'll see if we can get a hundo. Can we get a hundo, please? One time. One time dealer.
So
Just a hundo.
We just figured out how to work our overlay. Yet John,
He's trying to break it. First night.
he's just gonna break it. We got a new toy, and he just wants to smash it. I am pretty sure that our overlay can handle 3 digits, or at least
I
hope so.
agree. I hope that we don't have to go to, what was it, 27 septillion or whatever we were talking about the other
sweet Lord.
night.
We should just ban infinite combos.
I
from the
agree.
store. Just all of them. Oh, playing a temple off the top.
Temple off the top. Once again, Luke spiking lands off the top of his deck.
It's a good strategy.
He's done
Solid.
it again. Let's see if he chooses to keep this on top.
I think he needs to push this. He
I
needs
agree.
to just get more spells. Press his advantage even further.
I agree.
His miss is gone. He needs to find another big threat.
Let's see what does get revealed here.
Oh, just another land.
Okay. Got a Hero's Downfall still for Luke in his hand. We'll see how he wants to make combat happen.
I think he can just send all in to Nissa. He really needs
I
to get
wonder.
her off the board.
He does need to get her off the board for sure. See, a chump block on Courser. Well, he can make it survive, but he's got a. She'll only be at 1. What loyalty is she on? Is that a 5?
4, I believe.
A 4. Yeah. Well, if they all come at Nissa, she's gonna die anyway. So there's no sense in throwing a creature in front of anything.
Or maybe he's just going upstairs. He is.
Yeah.
Oh my.
looks like this is face. So face.
I like it.
Yeah.
Luke again just realizing that he is the aggressor in this match or in this game, and he needs to push that.
He says, "I don't care about your planeswalkers." Looking like an Ugin this turn.
This Ugin is going to be brutal though.
It is.
But it doesn't exile the land.
Because it says specifically non-lands. So there will still be, the 4/4.
Also, not a colored permanent.
Oh, that's an
Uh-oh.
unfortunate sequence. No,
Oh,
no,
he's
okay.
just just making more 4/4s.
All right, so gotta choose one Nissa. Can't have more than one.
So greedy with all the planeswalkers.
Looks like he's gonna make the Sandstep Citadel into a 4/4.
Making an army of 4/4s to combat Luke's army of 4/4s.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid line.
See if he has a removal spell to pair with the Planeswalker this turn.
Interesting. I think I would have preferred him. Oh, he couldn't, because if he minuses the Ugin, he'll get rid of his own Nissa.
It's true.
which
I think
leaves
it's
him
better
with
to
nothing.
reset the board, though, because there's a lot of pressure on him right now.
Sure.
And he needs Luke to brick, which is just not going to happen with the Corsair in play.
Sure. I believe that
He's already got to beat all the cards in Luke's hand, which seems like a tall order right now. And if he continues to maintain Corsair advantage, I don't see John pulling himself out of this.
I'm not 100% on this, but the card that is on top of Luke's deck, I believe, is Tainted Remedy
Oh,
from Magic Origins.
is that what that
2
is?
mana enchantment. Whenever your opponent would gain life, they lose life
it
instead.
instead, yeah.
Which seems decent when you're having Corsair Crewfix fights.
It certainly tips the balance in your favor. I don't know that it's worth a card. We will find out. Especially since John doesn't have Corsair anymore.
Well, it also makes his
Siege Rhinos.
worse.
Siege Rhinos are awkward. They just both of you lose 3 life.
Yeah.
I think still having the Siege Rhino is quite good. There's a
0
downfall
on the land.
on the land. Interesting. Just getting aggressive once again.
Do you think he's going toward... He is going toward Nissa this time.
That's an interesting attack. I think if you're going to take out the blocker, you just go face.
You just go upstairs. I mean, John would, unless he has a removal spell, will at least take 6. Which is
Trade the land.
a whole bunch.
Yeah, John gonna trade off with the one thing that his Ugin will not be able to take out. The creatures do a good job of finishing off Nissa.
But Tainted Remedy does make Ugin's ultimate embarrassing.
Well, seven permanents, 7
damage.
cards, take 7. Sounds more like what you'd see from some legendary demon of the past. Sounds more like a Lord of the Pit type of thing.
Ugin's
There's an
gonna come down,
Ugin
take
minus
care of business.
4. So Ugin gonna be at 3. See if we see a Tassiger here.
Oh, I believe Taskers are coming.
Yes.
Tasker, also the other Delve creatures like Hooting Mandrills are interesting because things that care about converted mana cost, their converted mana cost is way higher than their casting cost.
Absolutely.
So Ugin, it's very hard for an Ugin to minus and take out a Tasker.
Absolutely.
A whopping 6 loyalty counters for that.
If John were to do that, at some point, he runs the risk of having his own Ugin out Ugined, if you will.
Sure.
Because
Ugin
we know
Bolt.
that.
Oh.
Yep. And here's Luke's. He's gonna just
Like that.
just take that out right now. And this is some of the danger that John's in right now because he's got to fight through an Ugin that has been plus and not minused after the board was reset. So
Oh, there's a hero's
downfall, not the worst.
No.
And then
There's
in a
no
Johnny
Johnny.
to follow it up. So we'll probably see a plus in the form of look for a Planeswalker, because I think it's more likely to find a Planeswalker in this deck than it would be to find a creature.
Well, you know.
Some
many
of them are
Planeswalkers
both. Some of them are both. That
We'll
looks
call
like
it A and B.
that looks like a
Ooh.
Den Protector.
Den Protector
perhaps?
seems really good here.
If that is a Den Protector, yes, it is.
He
That
can
is
get
an
his Ugin
excellent
back.
one. He can get Ugin back. He can get whatever he should desire.
Anything his heart desires.
Could be a boat. He could get a boat back.
I don't know how many boats there are in John's deck, but
Well, we'll have to get word on what the contents of his graveyard exactly are.
so Luke, being an instrument of justice for us in the booth, could play his Tainted Remedy and make it so John cannot break our overlay with an Johnny Ultimate. Just take
he would
100
lose a hundo.
in the face.
I don't think he can gain enough before that happens to make it. Oh my. That would be a first. Take a hundo.
Then again, I may be wrong, and that might not have been a silly.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see the
anti-life loss
Tassiger
card.
here. Just a 1 mana 4/5 with bonus.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, it's
And he's also removed every card but the Ugin from his graveyard. So we'll see if if there's no other flips.
I wonder if he has a Haven in his deck.
Maybe we didn't see one either of the other two games. I would be surprised if he were running that. The mana base is already very tight, is the word I would use. It's difficult to be able to fit in another colorless land because there's no dragons. If he were playing dragons, he might be able to squeeze that card in there. But essentially, we're just going to see him hope to activate and flip 2 lands and then get his Ugin back. Looks like there's the Den Protector morphed. Gonna flip it immediately. See what the target is.
Removal spell for this Tasigur.
Removal spell's a good one. Downfall. Yep, just take the whole turn, make a 3/2. Oh, it was gonna activate.
Yep, might as well.
Looks like land and Den Protector. Oh, that's a very good one to flip. Very, very good one to flip. Give him the Den Protector.
Make him spend the mana.
Make him take one more turn to get this.
Pick
But
up the Den Protector.
Ugin is coming back.
Oh, just another one.
Also do this again. Hopefully he hits another land this time. Looks like land and
Hero's Downfall.
Or yes, that's Hero's
Which
Downfall.
is also just brutal.
Hero's Downfall is very good here.
His Tasigur flips have been disgusting, I believe is the term.
I think, removing those cards and then setting up excellent Tasigur activations, perfect play from Luke. Love it.
Absolutely. Luke has played this game very tight.
A very expensive selective Abzan Charm without the life loss. Although I don't think he would mind it being at 29 right now. Abzan Charm would be an excellent one here. We'll see another plus here from Ajani. See who else will join the Planeswalker Parade.
Oh,
there's a Siege Rhino as well.
And a creature.
I'm tempted to take the Siege Rhino here instead of perhaps Liliana.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely needs the life total padding. Nope.
We'll see which one this is. It may just be Anissa. Could be Liliana. Liliana would be excellent at this point.
Oh yeah, just start bringing back Siege Rhino after Siege Rhino.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that a copy of Read the Bones?
It is.
Read the Bones here for Luke. Drawing more cards at the expense of life. Not a problem. Not a problem for him.
Maybe that's what he had in his hand and not Tainted Remedy.
I'm thinking that may have been...
That seems far more likely. Well, again, from our brains to yours, please put Tainted Remedy in your Abzan decks.
So that people don't
Seems
break our
solid.
overlay. If for no other reason
To
that...
play against Ajani, Mentor of Heroes.
Cosmic Justice. I would like to see a turn of Den Protector set up to get back the Ugin, and also, setting up your draw with Scry and Read the Bones. Really just ramp up for the next couple turns and make sure that you're haymakering John
Luke is
every
just... Every card in his hand is a 2-for-1 right
You could also
now.
just potentially... I really like killing this Ajani because I'm not sure that you want to let it stick around for too long. It's card advantage that could become very difficult to beat.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he didn't hear his downfall on his turn when the coast was clear.
I would do it right now. He's got priority. Ajani's not been activated yet. Just take
Punish
it out.
John for not activating it first thing.
Well, yeah, it was a Liliana, which is a good one, I think.
Ooh, 2 Siege Rhinos in his hand.
Wow. John effectively has 15. It's just got to resolve those cards. It's only a matter of time.
Oh, just more Planeswalkers.
Just the parade continues.
Dare I say, Abzan Super Friends deck.
Yes. I don't know how much John wants to extend. I think it's okay to use the Hero's Downfall on the Ajani, but playing anything else just walks straight into this rebuy Ugin, play Ugin minus, which is not where John wants to be. I don't like this play at all.
No, I think
He knows it's coming, but he knows it's coming. He's down on cards. I think I would hold on to it. I think maybe he's just...
Well, the thing is, Luke has just ground out so much card advantage over these last couple of turns. I would just try to squeeze every bit of value you could out of every single one of your cards. To be fair, this Ajani has been really good. It's drawn him 3 cards.
I really don't want to see Luke do an end of turn. Yeah,
Nope,
here
he's
we
just
go.
Flipping it, getting the Ugin.
Flip that. Maybe get back Tasigur. Tasigur was excellent. No, he does get back the
I
Ugin.
don't think it's better than Ugin.
No, I agree.
The one Planeswalker to rule them all.
I definitely like an attack here. before we minus, just to make sure that that Den Protector is still something he has access to. It doesn't get exiled.
Sure.
Otherwise, you just get 3 damage in, which you're also fine with that as well. Oh, well.
I mean, John's gonna block it with the Siege Rhino.
That's fine,
kind
but
of
then it's
irrelevant.
in your graveyard.
Sure.
Potentially,
Sure.
you can start a train of Den Protector getting Den Protector, getting Den Protector, getting Den Protector.
Yeah, I would have swung there.
Yeah. Also, if John neglects to block, then you just gotten 3 free damage.
Getcha.
But yep, that was a -5, so Ugin's on 2. Here's Elvish Visionary. Trying to keep the Planeswalker Parade a-going.
So how do you feel about Elvish Visionary in this deck?
I can see why he's playing it. I'm not sure if there's a better option.
Well, I think it is just a direct swap for Satyr Wayfinder.
Perhaps. I would rather play Wayfinder if I were
Playing Dead Protectors.
playing more Den Protectors and the full Megamorph package. But I think since he's playing Liliana, he needs creatures to die on his side of the field. And, I mean, a 1/1 that gets you the free card attached to it anyway.
All right,
It's just kind of nice.
We're actually just getting word from our table spotter, Brad, that we are in turn 0 of turns. John is on turn 0 right now.
Absolutely.
So the players are going to have to close up the game pretty quickly here.
The +1 from Nissa here, after it flips, is going to get him a Caves of Koilos. Then I think we're going to see Siege right now.
I'm just saying, if the card that Luke had on top of his deck was Tainted Remedy, this game would be over by now.
You're not wrong.
He could start
You are not
going
wrong.
upstairs with you again.
It would not be in play anymore.
Well,
I think there's no doubt
that's
about
not
that.
what's important right now. What's important is a Tainted Remedy, solid magic card.
Very.
Play it
Yeah, and then
early, play it often.
Den Protector, the draw from Luke, further punished for not attacking.
Yeah.
Still a very, very good draw, regardless. Just
Well, he needs to be able to close out the game in
taking
2
options
turns.
from himself.
So,
Sure.
I think he should fire off the Read the Bones here. His life total really, I don't think there's a way Luke can actually lose this game.
I mean, maybe. We could see a sequence of, make a legendary 4/4 with Nissa, and then he's got enough bodies to rumble in, and then maybe like an Abzan Charm to swing through for lethal.
I mean, Ugin can -0 right now and kill his Planeswalker.
Ugin can -0 kill the Nissa.
And
I don't
let's
think Luke's too scared of that.
see if Luke
There's
saw
the
it.
downfall. I'd like to see that. I would have liked to see that hit the Siege Rhino.
Yeah, me too. Because, like we said, Ugin can take care of the Nissa.
Yep, that's exactly right. We'll see if he has a different play for this.
Oh,
Is that a
there's
Languish?
It is a Languish.
Yeah, so
and
he's
now
gonna plus.
I like-
That's
this is
This is better.
This is better.
The card Languish in your hand doesn't actually do very much, and you get to tick the Ugin up, which is nice. Because
so-
now whatever John plays can get minused.
Now we're in turn 2?
ostensibly. Yeah, turn 2. So John will have this turn and another one to finish off Luke, and Luke will have 2 more turns to try and get the job done.
just all the Nissas coming in. Oh, no more forests though. Oh, so he can't flip it unless he has the land in his hand. Interesting.
Triggers off the land being found
When it's put into play.
when the land is put into play.
If it is, if you have 7 or more lands when a land enters play,
Yep.
it will flip. Oh, there's the land.
Yes, has the land.
Flip before he scries. Just wants that Planeswalker. Yeah, John's looking in pretty rough shape trying to close out this game. He's fighting for a draw right now at
It's
best.
like a Dramoka's command, I think, maybe, going to the bottom. Couldn't quite tell what that was for sure, but it doesn't matter because it's not on the top of his library anymore. Abzan Charm. Just going to draw him some cards. Gonna take 2.
I'm okay with this. Looks like he drew more control cards.
Gonna have life totals at 13 to 20. Favoring Luke.
Oh, and there's an Elspeth. A little late to the party.
Yeah, I'm not sure that either one of these players is going to be able to close out this game. It's going to involve some Siege Rhinoing, I think.
Many, many Siege Rhinos and a lot of Ugin bolts going upstairs.
Yeah. Luke needs to come up with about 7 damage if he pluses Ugin twice. And then he's got to fight through whatever life game John can come up with
Or
on
the
his turn.
Hero's Downfall. That's the
Elspeth.
card that I thought was Tainted Remedy. It's the, again, alternate art of Hero's Downfall. It has...
Clash Pack, Heroes Downfall.
Thank
Just
God for Clash Packs.
alternate art cards. Shoutcaster's Bane.
To be fair, the art does look extremely similar. It is a gentleman sleeping in a kind of bed-shaped thing.
Bed-shaped thing.
I regret.
All right, so this is turn 4. John's last turn here. See what he can muster up.
Just languishes.
Just gonna take care of all the tokens. Play his own Elspeth. The Planeswalker Parade continues. Temple of Malady, Scry. I think he left it on top, but it will not matter. He will not get another draw.
It's like, should we continue playing this game? I would have drawn this, but
That's probably not something he wants to do, as that revealing outside information, not great. Yeah, it looks like the players here unable to finish the game off. We're going to end in a draw between the two Abzan control decks.
So what do you think of that matchup?
I had so much fun covering this. These two were tossing Planeswalkers and removal spells for Planeswalkers and Siege Rhinos at one another for many, many turns. It was a little sad to see John's deck fold so quickly in game 1. Obviously, he had to mulligan a whole lot and then didn't find a land. And then Luke without white mana for a little bit of game 2. These players stumbled a little bit on the mana base. Game 3, a very well-played game, hard fought. Neither one of them could pull it out.
No,
And then we just ran out of time.
I feel like we saw a lot of the power of the new Magic Origins Planeswalkers, and we're actually just getting word from our table spotter that John Judson scooped to Luke because he was going to win the game because of his Eugene. Anyway.
Yeah, it looked like Luke only needed a couple more turns. John, being an upstanding gentleman, realizing that he probably not going to win that game, decides
nice
to
guy, John.
decides to go ahead and give the win to Luke.
Right. So, well, I am glad that we got to see what these Abzan control decks look like after Magic Origins a little more.
Two interesting takes on the deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have the far more Planeswalker control version, and then the Fleece Mane Lion, a little more aggressive, but
Yeah,
still have a little
it
bit of
looks
control
like
on
it looks like he's saying that the Fleece Manes came out and the Read the Bones came in. I love that. I think that's great.
Oh, for game 3?
Yes.
Well, they were definitely in. Well,
For game 2. They were in for game 2, but he didn't know what he was playing against.
No, sure.
Potentially.
His opponent conceded very quickly.
Yes.
All right, so we have one more round of
Yep.
standard for you guys.
It should be back up very soon.
Yeah, I was about to
'cause
say, we went to time, so we'll be back in probably about 5 minutes.
As soon as that match slip gets turned up front, we'll be back with our fourth and final round of Thursday Night Standard. See you soon.
All right, guys, welcome back to Standard of the Wasteland.
Our fourth and final round.
Oh, yes, and we have a good one.
We do. Once again, Nathan Satterfield
And Jeff Stouter.
in the booth giving commentary. We have a pseudo mirror of green Megamorph decks, one of them opting for a white concentration, and the other one opting for black.
So the White Splash, I haven't seen these gentlemen's deck lists, but it seems to me like JD might be playing the Mastery of the Unseen.
Mastery of the
Green, white,
Unseen.
deck.
Cards like Hidden Dragon Slayer, Dromoka's Command. Looks like Talon. The lands in front of spells type of mage.
Solid.
Leading with Temple of Malady.
Yep, looks like both players kept their 7. Yep, lands behind spells. Thank you, Talon.
JD's going to lead off here with an Elvish Mystic. Oh.
And we have a Satyr Wayfinder.
He's got his choice of lands here off this Wayfinder.
I like Satyr Wayfinder in decks like this. He can play Murderous Cut, so definitely use further cards in the graveyard that don't come back, and he can also put Death Mist Raptors in to flip or to get back with other morph creatures later.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see 2 Masteries in JD's hand.
I think that's a Wingmate Rock and a copy of... yeah, here's Death Mist Raptor. Just going to be played face up. No mind games happening just yet with what the morph creatures are. That's going to be a whole lot of face down, either manifested or morph creatures. Lots to keep track of here.
Oh, that's an Evolutionary Leap. New from Magic Origins.
Oh my.
A different take on Survival of the Fittest. Old standby. It green and 1 to cast enchantment. A green to activate. Sacrifice a creature. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you hit a creature. Put that creature into your hand.
I believe that's what we're seeing right now.
Yep. And then shuffle the rest on the bottom.
So he's turned his Satyr Wayfinder into
A Death Mist
a Death Mist
in his
Raptor.
hand.
Yep.
Actually,
Second copy of
this
Death Mist
card in this
Raptor
deck.
in for JD. Very interesting.
Sacrificing Death Mist Raptors to get more Death Mist Raptors seems good.
It's not bad. Copy of Urborg here for Talon. There's a Death Mist Raptor. Very, very interesting play here. We'll see if he chooses to deploy the Courser. And then maybe Wingmate with a follow-up next turn with the Raid.
Oh, yep.
So there
There's
is...
Courser.
See what's on
Reveal
top.
Fleecebane.
Fleecebane Lion. See. Temple of Plenty. We'll see if he chooses to keep Fleecebane on top or no.
I like shipping the Fleecebane to the bottom.
I do too. Plenty of gas in your hand. You just want to continue getting either your more high impact cards.
Ooh.
Valorous Stance?
Removal spells are good.
Yes. Unfortunately, no targets at the moment. He needs a creature with 4 toughness. But he can also make one of his own creatures indestructible with the other mode.
And when people are swapping Death Mist Raptors, that seems solid.
Pressing the advantage is what JD can do here with that card.
Just a ton of Death Mist Raptors in Talon's hand.
Absolutely. There's another one. Interesting. I wonder what 4s he's got, because ostensibly you can get a lot of value from finding a creature off of your Death Mist Raptor.
Sure. Absolutely. And the neat thing about Evolutionary Leap is instead of putting it into play, which would not trigger the Death Mist, it puts the creature into your hand so you can morph it and then unmorph it to get them back.
Okay, looks like he's thinking about it here.
Yep, he's going to sack it.
He is going to sack. We'll see what he gets off this.
Satyr Wayfinder, which is another just great card to sacrifice to Evolutionary Leap.
Just continuing to keep the train a-rolling. It's going to get him a land, which will help him continue to flip Megamorphs. I see a snowball forming here, and it's going to continue to roll. We'll see if JD can...
Oh, and
there's adding the Wingmate Rock here.
And the LSV token.
LSV token. Once again, we spare no expense. Here we go. Casting a morph.
Morph could be anything.
Oh, just gonna double check there.
If that is a Den Protector, this Unmorph is going to be
Very, very strong.
mighty. He's going to have to find an answer to that Wingwing Croc
Ooh,
soon.
that's a good one. Yes. Wingmate, of course, 3/4 flyer with the raid ability. Make another 3/4 flyer if you have attacked this turn. Also, when it attacks, you gain life equal to the number of attacking creatures. Other attacking creatures or total attacking creatures? Total attacking creatures. So
not unbeatable and limited.
Very, very good. We'll see a trigger here for 4. It's like, this is a Den Protector.
Gonna probably get his Satyr Wayfinder back.
Ah. Yes, yes it does.
Talon's combo deck.
Lots of blocks.
Firing on all cylinders here.
So it looks like damage is going to happen. We're going to see one of those Deathmist Raptors on either side go to the graveyard, and then the Courser is going to bite the bullet from the Death Touch. Looks like a Mastery hit the table. He does have 4 mana.
Yeah, board states like this are really good for Mastery because you don't have to play any more cards to start accruing that card advantage. You just keep
I'm sure he would.
guys.
I'm sure he would love to manifest this as well.
Oh, sure.
It's not likely that Talon has a lot of ways to deal with the first Mastery, and the second one does only a little bit. You gain a little bit more life.
Life is not really the issue. He's already so far ahead of Talon.
If he's going to put that in play, he's going to break our overlay, for sure.
Yeah, and I would really appreciate it if JD did not do that.
Also, our minds after a long night of standard Magic the Gathering. I can't do complex math right now. Please don't make me. Some forests. I don't know, Whisperwood Elemental.
Ooh.
There's Forest in play.
I wonder if Talon has a Murderous Cut or any other kind of removal spell in his hand to get rid of this Wingwing Rock.
I would imagine that is a card he wants to play.
Oh, absolutely.
We will see what's going on here. He is going to come in.
I mean, they're not blocking.
Yeah, that's true. Manifest also not blocking if he were to do that.
Looks like he chose not to manifest the top part of his library. Guess he wants the second Mastery.
I guess so.
Oh.
Oh. Whoop.
Ooh.
We have seemed to have almost forgotten that Courser not in play anymore. So top of the deck does not need to be revealed. We're just gonna do a quick shuffle.
Yep. I believe he has scribed 1 card, and has not shuffled since then. So we're gonna put that 1 card to the side, shuffle the rest of it to randomize the rest of the deck, and then put it back. Yeah.
That should be the fix. I think we may have shuffled it all.
That is something that actually happens a fair amount in the standard format. Everyone is so used to playing with Cursor Crewfix all the time.
It's just like there's an emblem everyone has when they sit down for a standard tournament. Look at the top card of your library. Everyone has. Everyone can see it.
Oh, and there is a Hero's Downfall.
This is pre-combat here. He's going to Valorous Stance in response.
Oh, goodness.
Make it indestructible. Oh my. Once again, the Clash Pack.
Thank God for Clash Packs.
Hero's Downfall. 23-4 the life total here after combat.
Again, Talon is going to
Evolutionary Leap. A Courser. That may be just what the doctor ordered. We'll see if it is too little, too late. He needs to deal.
Leap has looked really good in this matchup.
He needs to deal with those flyers for sure. Copy of Languish would be a nice one here.
Ooh.
We'll see if he's packing that in a 75. That's one of the things I would like to see maybe out of the sideboard, if he has access to it.
So something spicy for the Evolutionary Leap deck is to play the new Wiltleaf Winnower from Magic Origins.
Absolutely.
5 mana 3/2 with Menace. Enters play and
Destroys
a creature, a non-elf that has power not equal to its toughness.
Correct. Excellent at killing creatures like Wingmate Rock.
Yes.
Excellent at killing Siege Rhinos. Excellent at killing Coursers of Crewfix.
Can also find it off Evolutionary Math or Leap.
Certainly can.
Seems solid. Oh, there's a Whisperwood.
Gonna manifest. I believe he's just dead to the swing back here in the air.
He might have something like a Murderous Cut in his hand.
That's possible as well. We'll see what he's got up his sleeve.
Maybe he has a reach blocker in that manifest. Get you.
There is the
Bile Blight.
Bile Blight. That's
Ugh.
not going to take care of...
That is desperate times.
That's not going to take care of the rock, but it is going to make it so it deals no damage. Dromoka's command, that's going to be the
Put a
game.
counter on my guy, kill you.
Yes.
Oh, flip this, it's a Hero's Downfall.
Well, there you go. All right, so game 1 goes to JD. Mostly on the back of an aggressive start.
Yeah, that Wingmate Rock did a ton of work in that matchup.
He started the game Death Mist Raptoring and ended the game with actual Avian Raptors. Cacao
Just coming in.
getting in there. 3
Yep.
power Raptors all
Added
around.
his life total while making his opponent's life total seemingly disappear.
That's exactly right. We didn't actually ever see an activation from the Mastery. Which is interesting.
It just, looked cool. It was just
It's there for show. So what we talked about some of the cards that Talon may be bringing in. Do you think he's got Liliana to pair with the Evolutionary Leap?
That'd be a nice one. That's also spicy. I would think so. Talon is a fairly competent player, and this deck already looks pretty saucy, so I can imagine a Liliana or two being in here.
It's a strong deck building.
So-
The card goes to the graveyard. Liliana can bring cards back from the graveyard. Evolutionary Leap getting you more cards. Once again, the snowball effect.
Combos.
Combos.
Plenty. So JD's deck already looks really well suited for this matchup.
I agree.
Dromoka's command in the main to deal with the Evolutionary Leap should get out of hand.
We saw him draw Timely Valorous Stance. That ended up being a very nice one. Also, Dromoka's command is interesting in this matchup. It allows you to fight your Death Mist Raptors onto something else. It also can potentially deal with the Evolutionary Leap by making Talon sacrifice an enchantment. I would think if JD's already got a couple copies in the main deck and has access to more, that they would be coming in.
Oh, every copy is going to be in his 60 when he presents. I wonder if Talon has languishes in his sideboard, because if he does, they're definitely coming in.
If Talon can sideboard into a bigger, slower control deck doing similar things with the graveyard, I think that's where he wants to be. And if he can, definitely going to do it.
But when doing this, he runs the risk of just being completely blown over with Mastery of the Unseen.
That's true.
Because Mastery is a army in a can for the control matchup, and it is, when it gets it going, it's dangerous.
We'll see if Talon has some creatures like Reclamation Sage or something of that nature that can also deal with enchantment.
Maybe some Thoughtseizes.
Maybe Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseize in general seems kind of medium in this matchup.
I agree.
It's not great against the Death Mist Raptor Den Protector decks of the world. Taking anything other than a Den Protector just means Den Protector can get it back. And then taking Den Protectors that's not why you bring it in.
No, certainly not. I don't know that there's any other cards that are super high impact in this matchup, except for maybe the Wingmate Rock. That's the only thing I'd be really happy trading the 2 life in a card for.
Absolutely.
I mean, Mastery eventually going to get out of hand, but
Talon looks
I
like
don't know.
his ability to gum up the ground is very good. So
I agree.
Wingmate Rock might be... Oh, there is,
is
a Liliana.
is that a
Woo!
Doomwake Giant? Can't quite tell.
Talon's deck is nice.
We will see what's going on here. I don't think that was a Doomwake, but that's what the art looks like from here.
Talon playing green-black combo wombo deck.
Once again, lands and spells.
Looks
Gonna
like...
see,
both
gonna
players
see a
have some-
similar turn 1, fetch up a forest, cast an Elvish Mystic. Alright, there's the Evolutionary Leap.
Talon using the grid formation made famous by Patrick Chapin for his permanents, where essentially what you're trying to do is make all your permanents into a sweet grid all along the play area. lock out your opponent. Make them a cage out of your cards.
Ah. Fleece Mane Lion. And an attack for 1. It's like a Hero's Downfall. Going to take care of Fleece Mane Lion. I think I see a copy of Elspeth. Sun's champion in JD's hand.
Champion of the Sun, if you will.
Yes. Yes, that is what that is. Also, looks like a copy of Whisperwood Elemental.
And Den Protector. Yeah, JD's hand looks great.
It's very good, yes. Well suited to play a very long game.
Which is exactly what JD wants.
Here's a morph. See what Talon has up his sleeve.
So, Talon thinking a little bit before he puts a creature into play. He has a Liliana. I think he also has a Courser.
There's the Liliana. That was the art looks similar to the Doomwake Giant. That's what I was seeing.
Okay.
Used to, after last round, seeing the flip cards, the proxy cards. Talon just straight up sleeving him.
Alright, let's see if JD plays his Whisperwood here or chooses to unmorph his Den Protector. I mean, unmorph Den Protector, get back, Fleece Mane does not seem terrible.
No, I agree. And that looks like that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, just add to the board.
Add to the board.
I mean, you can swing with Den Protector, Liliana cannot block it.
That is correct. The other clause on Den Protector.
Green evasion, if you will.
Creatures with power less than Den Protectors cannot block it.
Cowards can't block warriors.
That's true.
And there's Courser.
Courser here, fishing for the free land. We'll see if we... Oh, he's going to stay in play. He's going to need that Courser to grind out some advantage to get back in this game.
Yeah, also he can sack into the Evolutionary Leap to trigger his Liliana.
I don't think that's the creature he wants to be sacrificing. Neither are blocking. Going to take 3 more. Down to 13. And there's an Elspeth. That is very bad news.
Ugh.
Hopefully, Talon has another copy of Hero's Downfall. If not, this game is not going to take very long. That card is going to be very difficult for Talon to fight through. I think I see another copy of Liliana. Here's a sacrifice. And a flip. Gonna make a zombie.
Let's see what we get here.
Oh.
Whew.
Passing through lots of spells. Gonna find a Satyr Wayfinder.
And now the wording on Evolutionary Leap says you must randomize the cards before you put them onto the bottom of your deck.
Much like Cascade.
Sure. So you can't stack your deck should you not have any creatures in it.
Absolutely.
Oh, what a combo wombo.
Oh my.
Oh.
So he's essentially -3'd, and Liliana only has 3 loyalty to bring back the Courser that was sacrificed. Here's a Wayfinder trigger. Gonna miss.
Put a Hero's Downfall in the yard. That's not what we want.
We're gonna see a scoop here. Well, unfortunate for Talon, he could not continue. Gonna scoop him up here.
Yep, that was a real quick one.
Yes.
So what do you think about that matchup?
I think the games we saw were not necessarily
Indicative.
Yeah, they don't speak to as one-sided as that looked. I think that the matchup is probably a little more 50-50. We just saw the wrong side.
Sure.
I think Talon's deck is fundamentally less aggressive, but I don't know if he has the control cards to be as slow and play the long game the way that JD's can. JD's got Elspeth, JD's got Whisperwood. Talon's got Whisperwood too.
But he doesn't have the Elvish Mystics.
That's
or at
true.
least we didn't see any. Which Elvish Mystic...
That may have been the difference. Those turn 1 Elvish Mystics
Very
accelerating
powerful.
JD may have been why Talon was unable to compete.
Mox, man.
Pretty much.
Moxes are good, I hear.
They are free mana for the rest of the game. Also, creatures. Being a 1/1 may have been better than Mox there.
Yeah, you can't swing with Mox.
That's true. Not without some doing.
All right, you
It
heard it
takes
here
some
first,
doing.
guys. AAA level commentary. Elvish Mystic far superior to Mox Emerald
Ugh.
in every facet.
Wait, we're kidding. That's not true. In any case, JD, 2-0 over Talon.
All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry that our 4th round match wasn't as long as we hoped, but we did have a fun and exciting few hours of Magic, and trust me, Nathan and I enjoyed being here with you, watching it all.
Yeah. Got to see 7 different decks tonight.
Yeah, new standard looks sweet.
I agree.
A lot of cards that we knew were going to be here. A few that surprised us. Liliana made several
Yeah,
showings.
that's true.
Which we didn't see a lot of Liliana at the Star City event. So seeing the Lilianas was cool. John Judson's Abzan Super Friends deck seemed really good. Even though he
So
didn't
many
draw.
planeswalkers. The parade continued on and on.
Every time I thought I was not going to see a different version of a Planeswalker, he played both Nissas, a Johnny, just the whole shebang, just all of them. And
Luke also pitched in too. He didn't have any shortage of planeswalkers
no.
either. I think he played 3 or 4 in that last game. Paled in comparison to what John was doing.
yeah,
It was
Elspeth,
still
Ugin, Nissa, yep.
just a blast to watch. I think the future of Standard is just jam as many planeswalkers as you can into one deck.
Gather, search, Planeswalker.
Absolutely.
Also, the Turbo Fog deck, we got to saw that a little bit. It was, below average amount of fun to watch in action, but it's still a deck to keep in mind.
It seemed very powerful in that specific matchup. If you find yourself in a metagame where your opponents are packing mid-range threats, dragons, slow creatures, and not a lot of burn spells, maybe pull out the Sphinx's tutelages
Sure.
and defend the hearth
I also
against
think
those
that
dragons.
Those cards, like the Sphinx's tutelage Monastery Siege package, is not actually that many cards if you alleviate the fogs. So maybe that's also a sideboard package you can bring in a control deck.
Control
against
versus
another
control? Yes,
deck.
absolutely.
Because they're not going to be thinking they need to leave a counterspell open on turn 3 and you slam a tutelage. And I don't know, given a typical draw-go game of control, that they could beat that.
Either one of those cards by themselves also seem fine in a sideboard strategy, because if you have to play a Monastery Siege, and say you name the other mode dragons, and all of your things are too colorless, harder to kill.
Frost Titan-esque.
Frost Titan. If you Frost Titan all of your permanents and yourself, it could become very difficult for your opponent to keep up.
So frosty.
Stay frosty.
So any cards from the new set or decks that come up from the new set that you were hoping to see tonight that we didn't necessarily?
I think the big one, we all wanted to see some Thopter tokens.
Absolutely.
I want to see personally people playing Chandra's parents, Kira and PLR.
Yes.
The Siege Gang Commander
4-mana
esque.
Siege Gang? Sure.
Yes. The tokens fly, they're artifacts. I also, in the same vein, wanted to see a different Thopter making card, the Thopter Spy Network. I was hoping we would see someone playing that.
Oh yeah, Thopter Spy Network, super sweet. I kind of wanted to. There's been rumblings around the Wasteland that there is a new burn deck rearing its ugly head.
Oh my!
That is playing the Chandra Planeswalker.
We saw some flip Planeswalkers. We didn't see Gideon.
Because that card, the turn it flips, it deals 5 damage. It is a 3-mana lava axe.
We also did not see Chandra. Yeah.
But I think that the burn deck is actually pretty well positioned right now. Also, Exquisite Firecraft. That card is bonkers.
Powerful.
That card
Very powerful.
Very good. So, those are our thoughts on Standard. For free. You guys can keep that. Please feel free.
Speaking of Standard, coming up very, very soon, we have
Yes.
Star City Regionals.
We are hosting Star City Regionals for the Southeast. It is going to be not necessarily at the Wasteland, but very close by. We needed a slightly bigger space. We can hold about 200 people in our store, and there's probably going to be about 400 people at Regionals. It's very exciting. It is next Saturday, not this upcoming Saturday.
the 1st of August.
Correct. Yeah, so absolutely. If you are in this part of the country and you're not playing in the Pro Tour, which is also happening that weekend,
Yes.
come on down. Nathan and I and Brad will be there. We will be on coverage. So come say hi to us, please. Tell us what you think about the stream. Whether you love us, hate us. Hopefully you love us. I think we're pretty great. So.
Come ask for autographs.
Yes, absolutely. I will sign anything. Anything.
Just any old thing.
Just give me, T-shirts, babies, don't matter. I'll sign it. But yeah, absolutely. We're very excited to be chosen to host Star City Regional.
Yes.
So
very, very excited.
yeah. So please come on down, see us. Also, our next stream should be on Monday.
Monday, once
Modern.
again for Modern.
Yep, absolutely.
Looking to get Card Fight up on Wednesdays.
Yes.
You will not be hearing our beautiful voices, but
Unfortunately, I know nothing about Card Fight, so
nor do I.
surprisingly enough.
We'll look to get that set up for Wednesday and get that streaming for perhaps if you also play that game or know some people who do, let them know. But until then, we're going to sign off. Thank you guys for watching once again. We very much appreciate
Yeah, absolutely.
all of you tuning in.
Also, this stream and all our future streams will be archived in the Twitch channel and also on our YouTube page at youtube.com/gaming.
If you scroll down a little bit, there will be a button that you can click.
Out.
All of the links have been fixed. Thank you so much for the feedback on all of those. There's also a link to the event Facebook page for regionals, so you can follow the breadcrumbs there, get yourself signed up, ready to go. Play some Magic the Gathering.
All right, guys, it's been fun. So from Nathan Satterfield
And
oh, please no,
Jeff Stouter.
Yes. We hope you have a great night and keep playing Magic, man. It's sweet.